concepts at motor shows are always fun. A micro-mobility concept that has real context to our Indian situation, even more fun. Let's talk about it with a dear friend, SangYup Lee. It's good to see you.
Great to see you, Sid.
And back in India, it's so nice. It's so
Always
nice to have you.
excited.
Yes.
You know I love Indian food, so
India loves you. So I'm very happy to see you. The last time you were at our awards. So
All right.
really happy to welcome you back.
great.
This is, of course, not what anybody would expect from Hyundai. It's also not what you would think of as a show car or a show vehicle. Where does the story for this start?
Obviously, this is a micro-mobility concept inspired from rickshaw. And this micro-mobility is a very important, especially here in Delhi in India market, because still there are a lot of streets. It's difficult car to get in. It's not only India, but other countries as well. So last mile mobility is so important. So it really help others to have accessibility in the last mile of the mobility. And obviously, traditionally, we have a rickshaw. And this car is a bit bigger on the wheelbase, about 200 millimeter longer wheelbase. So bigger interior space, so a lot more comfortable inside. And also, it has front has an overhang. So the rickshaw is a bit has a safety issue when you get into
Stability and
stability.
Also the crash was.
So there are a lot of engineering study has happened to be. But what is the most important thing as a designer? We didn't design this two-wheeler concept not in the fancy design studio. Instead, we designed the car with rickshaw users together. So we understand all the pain point, understand the issues, all the details and everything together that bake into the concept here that what we're showing today. So it is concept, but it's not concept of concept. It's actually very seriously thought out in all the usability, even in the TCO, the project. So this is why we didn't put the big Hyundai badge here. We actually wrote it designed by Hyundai. So we announced today the production work that we are going to do with the TVS together to help with each other to create a win-win synergy out of it. I think this type of activity is very important because, we did IPO a few months ago here in the Indian market. That means we have a lot of responsibility in society to help others. And for me as a car company, this is actually a great example to help others engage with the society, inclusivity.
It is, and it's a mobility solution rather than being a car or a bike.
Absolutely. So it is a mobility solution. It starts from the people. And if I have to come up with one word to define brand Hyundai, we're a customer-centric brand. So
doesn't get more focused than this. Now, if you think about it, some of the key things you heard SangYup talking about there: congestion, the very specific Indian conditions, and also things like last mile connectivity. When you see something like this, it's recognizable, of course, as a rickshaw, but then it has very different attributes. The materials, SangYup, maybe this becomes more concept-like, but it has real-world application, to have messaging as well that the vehicle can provide to its environment. The height, why were these things important?
The messaging on the front is very important because they're able to work with the software architecture, for example, the Grab and all the service, the platform we can engage. But at the same time, the cost implication is so important because rickshaw is not expensive. I mean, it has a bit of the premium, but that does not mean that it should be more expensive than a traditional rickshaw. So how to make the cost relevance into the vehicle is so important. So therefore, if you take a look at all the panels, it's all flat panels. That means you don't have to stamp. So it's all flat panel, and also and it's a very simple and the minimum parts as much as possible. To reduce the cost, not only we challenge the piece cost, but also manufacturing method. Without the stamping, of course, and without the manufacturing, the process, and etc. So, and also everything that we put a lot of detail into. The roof height you mentioned, we actually raised the roof height about 35 millimeter than the traditional rickshaw for easier get in and out of the vehicle. And of course, for example, the driver said, we all know that rickshaw users, they spend like more than 10 hours in the rickshaw. So they need to be comfortable when they ride. But you know, the rickshaw is always
you're hunched over. Yeah.
to do that. So when you sit here, obviously there is no step in the middle of it. So easy access over here, easy to in and out. And you can actually, you have your back straight. So it's a lot more comfortable than maneuvering the vehicle. And on the top of it, summer Delhi gets really hot.
Yes.
So we need to have a lot of water bottles. So full-size water bottle, and open up, there's another water bottle. So those are the things is very, very important for the market itself. Obviously, road condition, some areas are not good. So we just want to make sure that the parts are absolute minimum and they really have a strong bonding together so it doesn't rattle. So those are the very important keys.
So powertrain, suspension, what was the key consideration for both?
Powertrain is obviously it's EV.
Yeah.
So right element of the type of the battery combination with the motor is so important, which is we are always good at as well. So the BMS and everything is important. We want to have all the lessons learned out of the EV, maximize the interior space based upon the dimension what we had. So,
but did you have like a target range in mind when you were setting out?
We do, but I cannot think of top of my mind, so I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we can add that in.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, again, when you say 8-10 hours, they're out all day, they don't really have the time to go back and charge.
Of course, this is very important.
So the range becomes important.
So what for us is the range that the user use for how long they're actually the route of the day. We did research and what is the absolute right amount of electricity with the battery and the motor power that combination.
To them.
Absolutely.
What about the screen? You have a USB point. These are again things you don't associate with the rickshaw, but luckily technology has now become more accessible.
Absolutely.
So why was it important to have that digital display and the USB?
It's about journey of the user. So as I mentioned to you, the range has to be defined by journey of the user, how they use it, of course. And technology develops so much
as well.
So this is all driven by software. So this is the phone holder. So main thing was
none of us have our phones. Let's ask for a phone. Just a phone. We just want a phone. Yeah. No. We just want to see how it fits into the holder.
You put the phone holder. So basically, this one phone can do everything.
Yeah.
But when you have a critical information in the speed and everything, you always have extra information over there. Not the full screen, but the small tail.
They probably want to access the ride-hailing service app, and they want to access maps.
Yeah. So this is why it's more of the safety related, the minimum information. But everything else is great with the phone.
Is that a Pixel? I couldn't resist. Yes, it is, right? Yeah, it's a Hyundai design. It has to have pixels in it.
Designed by Hyundai. Yeah. So I have a bit of the story that was global.
All right, we can walk over and see the bigger one as well. The you mentioned about crash safety when we were talking in the context of the overall structure and the design of that structure.
The impact. This is why we deliberately have about the 50 centimeter so the front overhang to able to accommodate the hit from the front. So they increase the safety relevance.
Yeah. And what role do you see a player like TVS bringing to this? What do you expect their contribution to be when it comes to? Is it just the manufacturing, or would there be certain other?
We're looking at a great synergy together because obviously for Hyundai that we're good at mass production with the EV technology and etc. but we never make the three-wheeler before. The TVS has a long history and understanding.
Also
of
the
three-wheeler.
capacity
Yes,
to make it.
capacity.
Yeah.
So there's obviously the synergy you can create out of it. And the manufacturing that we're looking into TVS
Yeah.
facility has not been decided, but definitely looking forward to serviceability.
But that would happen
the
at their end.
softwares, yeah.
So
Right now we're starting with the MOU to begin with, but how we collaborate together to the next step. We'll start looking into it.
can we get into this one?
Yeah,
Is it
of
okay to
course,
sit
yeah.
inside? All right. So
Sure.
how do you open it?
Pull.
Hold. Ah, okay, very good. Right. So what is this? What's the material? I mean, it's really light, the door, but
It's a composite, but there's going to be more of
yeah,
the steel construction.
yeah.
So we're also looking at the local steel supplier in order to have the good price steel. And this four-wheeler, for me, okay, it's a very easy to understand. The three-wheeler is the feature of the rickshaw, the last mile mobility, where this one has a lot more flexibility, potential
More use cases.
user cases. So not only you can use this as a neighborhood vehicle, but also you can use it on the street, obviously. But at the same time, you can use it four-wheeler, like an indoor, like an airport and a big resort, like a Goa
Yeah.
event there, or golf course. So a lot more possibility in stretch of avenues out of this.
And with this, was it a sort of an evolution of the three-wheeler, or was it more like a quadricycle? Like, what was the thinking behind this particular?
It was actually the modularity. So we designed the two-wheeler first, and then when you look at the B pillar over there,
Yeah.
B pillar 4 is actually the modular system. So it's a B pillar 4 that can be swappable to create a four-wheel and to create a three-wheel out of it.
Right.
And the whole idea is about the flexibility as much as possible. So there's some the user case, they're looking for more like a 6-seater rather than a 4-seater.
Yeah.
So there's a stretch.
One opportunity. Is there a flexibility there in terms of wheelbase, in terms of
Yes, of course.
also maybe full doors? You think that that's possible with the
Yeah.
weight?
That really depending on the
battery.
business case, of
Yeah.
course. But if someone wants to have AC, which is the most important, we actually have a package protected for the seal and the complete closed door as well.
Because certain parts of the country get a lot of rain.
Exactly.
So from the perspective of just being sort of
Right.
dry, I had to ask that.
Absolutely.
One last thing. While we understand what it is that you have achieved with these concepts and what direction they might go into, what motivated this? Where did the idea to do this come from? Why do this? That's the question.
Designer. This is why I like about being designer, because if I have to define role of designer in one word, it's about help others. and this is a great contribution as a designer.
It's a huge possibility.
Yeah, huge possibility. And the last mile mobility, help others, accessibility, inclusivity. This is why in the presentation I said DBL quite a bit. Is because this is a really role of the designer, and it's really exciting. Sometimes you would work on very expensive super part, but I get more excited to have a bare minimum help others mobility. I think this is a very exciting project for me.
It is very exciting. It's also a huge surprise. It's a very refreshing kind of a concept to see at a motor show. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Sid.
Really
It's a
pleased.
pleasure talking to
And
you.
it's great seeing you, especially back in India.
I know.
And you also have your other baby there, the Ioniq 9. So, that's,
Yeah.
yesterday I was wondering where it is, and now it's here. So happy to see it.
But that's a base car. That's not.
Yeah, I haven't yet
so
gone and
actually-
seen it.